Hi, everybody. My name is Mike, and this is my YouTube page, Mox News. And this is a tribute to my girl, Sammy. She died not last night, but the night before. And I miss her so much. But that being said, I wanted to come out here and talk about her just a little bit. And I wasn't going to take phone calls at first because I just want to talk about her for a minute. But I thought about it, and I thought that probably a lot of people experience something similar to what I experienced, and it might be cathartic for all of us to be able to talk it out. In case anybody wants to call, the number's up there on the screen. So I want to talk about Sammy, and that she was a good girl, and she was Rufus's sister from the same litter. She is Rufus's sister from the same litter, and we got her like 2 years after we got Rufus. Though she was with another person, and they got to hang out. You can see from the pictures that they were puppies, and then they were very young puppies, and they played. But we got her when she was about 2, and we got Rufus when he was about 8 weeks, maybe a little bit younger. And Sammy got taken home on the same day. So, but not here. We didn't get her until 2 years later, when the person who took Sammy home on the day we took Rufus home called and said that she can't take care of Sammy anymore when she was 2 years old, and she wanted to know if we wanted Sammy because Rufus's sister, and we've known her all the time. So we said, sure, bring her over. It's not that much more taking care of 2 dogs than it is taking care of 1 dog. And when we got her, she was an escape artist. The other house that she lived in with the other people, if you open the door like 6 inches, right, she would just bolt out the door, and you wouldn't see her for like 24 hours. And then if you put her in the backyard, she'd jump the fence, or she'd dig out underneath the fence. She was an escape artist. She wasn't gonna be contained. And then when she came to our house, Craig was terrified. He's like, she's gonna escape, and she's gonna get hit by a car. And I told him, I said, as soon as she learns the word cheeseburger, she's not going anywhere. And she never did. She never tried to run away. And it got to be a joke, because I would leave the door open. I say, aren't you going to run away? I'd leave the door wide open. I say, aren't you going to run away? Now's your chance. Go ahead, run away. She'd just sit there, look out the door. And she didn't have to. That was the whole point, was that when she came to live with us, she was actually part of the family. And she actually mattered to someone. And I think that made all the difference. She, like I said, she was a really good girl. She wouldn't run away. I made a big joke out of it, leaving the door open and such. And when we go on our walks, we walk every single day. And it wasn't like we just go and get a poop and turn around and come home. We'd go on adventure walks, hour and a half, 2 hours, every day. And we'd walk, wherever she wanted to go, wherever Rufus wanted to go. That's where we go because it's their walk, right? So she always led the way. She was always out, 5, 10 feet ahead of me and Rufus. And I think that's going to be probably the hardest part of not having her around is her not leading the way. It wasn't like she needed to lead the way because she was the boss. It was like she wanted to lead the way because I got the impression to make sure that it was safe for us. She wanted to be out front making sure that it's okay. So, and because she knew she wasn't the boss. She knew Rufus was the boss. But we walk every day. She'd get her teeth brushed, 2, 3 times a week. And I can tell you, in the last 10 days of her life, I brushed her teeth twice. She couldn't get up. She really couldn't walk. She could a little bit. I would pick her up and take her out on the grass, and she would, do her business. And I put like a little sling under her belly. I'd use like a bath towel and put it under her belly, back behind her hind legs, because her hind legs just weren't working at all. Although when I put her down on the grass and not pull the sling up, she would, walk along. I'd hold the sling so that she wouldn't fall. And she'd walk along on her own weight, so she could walk to where she wanted to walk and do her business. And but I brushed her teeth twice during the last 10 days, and she got a big smile on her face after I brushed her teeth both times. She was a good girl, and she loved going out to restaurants, and I'm not sure quite why. I think it's because, again, in the first couple of years of her life, she was kind of a secondary consideration, But once she met me and moved in to be part of our household, she became a priority. And I think she knew it. And we would go out to dinners, go out to restaurants, go out to lunches. And I think she was like, it was funny, the first couple times we went into a restaurant, she's like, what the heck is this? There's all these people, there's all these smells. And then we go out on a regular basis, 3 or 4 times a year. We'd go to restaurants, sometimes more, 6 times, 7 times, 8 times. It used to be a lot. We'd go to different places after the dog park. We'd go to places like that would have outdoor patios and stuff. But there was a couple places we would go where we would dine inside. And I remember the first time we took her out was to one of those places, and she was just like, full of wonder. And I remember we ordered her a burger, and they had like little doggy bowls for the burgers and stuff. So she had a good life, and right up to the end, it was really hard because, like I said, I have to carry her outside. And in fact, when she first started having a problem, the doctor gave her codeine, right? And she would shit herself, and I'd tell her it's okay, and I'd clean her all up, and I'd say it's okay. And then I stopped giving her the codeine, and she stopped shitting herself. So, if doctor gives you codeine, and the dog starts all of a sudden, losing control of its bowels, it's a good chance it's because of the codeine. And for myself, I took her off the codeine and put her on the cannabis, and she stopped doing that. So, hello.
Hello.
Hi.
I want to talk about Sammi. I would love to talk about the things that I think were beautiful about her, and also to express a deep gratitude for loving her and giving her exactly what she needed. I'm so grateful how beautifully you let her be a protector and a supporter in your family. And you let her work and do the job that she knew she came here to do, that I didn't offer her. And I'm so fucking thankful that you gave her meat.
She was a happy girl. She was glad to be. She was very happy. I think she's very satisfied, and she knew she was loved, and was just happy. She got to go places and do things, and she really liked doing that. It was really a big part of her life, and I'm glad that we got to share that time together.
We went on some really great adventures together.
Yeah.
To the ocean. That was your last big adventure.
Yeah.
Oh no, to the mountain, to on top of Hurricane Ridge.
Yeah. We went
Hurricane
lots
Ridge.
of places. She was a good girl. She'll always be my girly girl. She got at least 100 kisses in her last hour. So I'm glad you got to hang out with her for a minute or two. She was very happy to see you.
I was so glad to see her. Thank you for all your love.
She's my girl.
Oh my gosh, she loved your guys' walks when we would go to the dog park. And Craig would have the little red light, and she would just go crazy and bark, and she was so happy and so energetic and so active. It was so fun to see her out, especially at the lake. So it was really wonderful.
Yeah, she's gonna be missed for sure. Lots and lots.
Yeah.
For a long, long time.
How's Rufus doing?
We went on a long walk today, almost 2 hours. Got lots of vertical. So he's kind of upset about Sammi. But
yeah.
But
he's feeling his energy in the walk though.
Yeah.
He's doing okay in the walk.
Yeah, he's doing good in the walk. He's doing good in the
Harder
walk.
at home?
What's that?
Harder at home.
It's just hard everywhere. She used to lead the way on all the walks, so kind of looking around, wondering where she's at.
Yeah. Lots of love to Rufus. Big love to Rufus. I'm so sorry for his loss and your loss. Craig's loss.
It's okay.
I'm sending hugs and love to you.
It's okay. She had a really good life.
Oh my gosh, it was so good. Burgers and puppuccinos through the drive-through at Espressos. Oh my gosh, yeah, super swanky life. Van rides, yeah, they were amazing.
Yeah. She's gonna be missed every single day.
If I gathered some pictures and sent them your way,
Okay, cool.
could I do that? Would
Yeah,
that feel good?
yeah.
I might have some pictures
Okay, good.
that
Yeah,
maybe like Mo has, or we can find some pictures.
right on. Okay, honey.
Can I come see you tomorrow?
Okay,
Okay.
cool. Okay, cool. Good.
Okay.
That would be awesome.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Talk to you later.
Have a great rest of the show.
Thanks for
Bye.
calling. Bye. Um. So and Sammy did love going to the lake. You know, there's a picture of her at the lake right there. And the thing is that when we got her, you know, she was afraid of the water. We would go places and Rufus would go swimming and she'd stand back and watch him swim, not go in the water, you know, which is really weird. It took a minute to get Rufus into the water when we got Rufus when he was this big, but you know he wasn't quite ready to go into the water until he was almost a year old. So, and then he kind of just fell into the water. He thought he was walking through a puddle, and it was like, you know, a 3 foot deep thing, and boom. But after that, we couldn't keep him out of the water. And the girl, we went to a concert with her. What was it? I think it was Fish, and we went to a concert over in Eastern Washington at the Gorge. And the Gorge is awesome venue. If you haven't seen a show there, you're missing out. And we went to the Gorge, and we took the RV, and the dog stayed in the RV while we went and saw the show. And by the way, besides restaurants, they went to festivals and all kinds of places. So we went to the concert, went to go see Fish at the Gorge, and the real reason I wanted to go, not that Fish wasn't an awesome concert, it was awesome, but the real reason I wanted to go was because after the concert at the Gorge, after all the concerts at the Gorge, pretty much, there's like thousands and thousands of people camping out, say at the Gorge, right? Hello.
May Allah bless you.
Back at you.
It was a beautiful speech, and I feel your pain, and this bush light goes up to you.
Right on.
And your girl, and you know it's always tough to lose anything in our life. You know, whether it be an animal or a human being, it's still the same, you know?
It's family. It's hard losing
It's
family.
family.
Yeah.
You know, and I just wanted to call real quick and, you know, send my condolences to you, and I hope, you know, you can get through this.
I'll get through it. I mean, I'm good. You know, I'll talk about it more. But I made sure that she got the ending that I wanted her to get, and that was really important to helping me be able to be good when it comes to all this. So, thank you very much.
Absolutely.
Thank you very much for your concern and your good wishes.
Yes, you have a good one.
Okay, thanks for calling.
Yeah, bye-bye.
And again, that's partially why I wanted to leave the calls available. I was not going to take calls on this show, and because, you know, but I decided that it might be good and cathartic for other people, and anyways, I want to finish my story about the gorge, right? When we first got the girl, she was afraid of the water, wouldn't go near the water. And Rufus, we take Rufus out for a swim all the time, and she'd be like, no fucking way. And then we went to the fish concert at the Gorge. The Gorge is a giant venue. It's outdoors. It's fucking beautiful. If you haven't been there, you're missing out. It's right down on the river. And the real reason I wanted to go to the concert, was because after the concert at the Gorge, there's like thousands and thousands and thousands of people camping out, right? And the Boo Bear and the Girl love meeting people, love going on adventure. Like I said, their walkies weren't, okay, you got to poop, let's go home. Their walkies were, oh, what's over here? Ooh, what's over here? And who do we get to say hi to today? And they just love saying hi to people and dogs. And so I thought after the show, we'd be able to go out and walk around all the campsites. That was like one of the best things about going to the shows at the Gorge was, you eat a bunch of mushrooms and you're up all night. You're just wandering around, and there's all kinds of other people who ate a bunch of mushrooms and are up all night. And there's people playing guitar, and there's people, sitting around campfires, and just really, really awesome vibe, right? So I wanted to share that with the dogs, considering how much they love, But unfortunately, it was really close to 4th of July, and there was just a ton of fireworks. And the dogs do not like fireworks. So we couldn't go out. And it was kind of a rough night because, they hear the bombs go off and they're like, ah, But we spent the night. And then we got up the next morning and opened the door to the RV, and the dogs jumped out. And the parking lot are just these giant fields, right? They break them down into spots, and they guide the people into where they want you to go and everything. So giant fields. So we opened the door of the RV, and there's just this giant grass field, right? And there's like no cars parked there. And the dogs jump out, and they just start running huge circles in the grass field, just round and round and round, chasing each other. And then, we packed well, actually, we had a couple other friends staying in the campsite next to us, which are not really campsites, just parking spots. And so we had set up like a tarp and a badminton net and stuff. And so after we had some breakfast, hanging out, and then we started to go home. So we're driving home, and it's like 110 degrees. Eastern Washington in the summer gets hot, right? So we're driving home, and we see a lake. I'm like, we need to stop somewhere. We need to take a minute and stretch our legs. Dogs need a stretch, right? Dogs need a poop. So Craig found a lake, right? And it was just ice cold, and it's like 100 degrees outside, and we're walking along, and Rufus just jumps in the water, right? He sees water, and he's just in the water, right? So the girl goes there, and he's just like swimming. And the girl goes there, and she's looking at the water, And it had like a little foam frisbee, right? It's made out of foam for the dogs. It's really, really tough. They could not rip it apart. So we got this foam frisbee, and I threw it like 3 feet out in the water. Get it, girl, get it. And she started to kind of step out into the water, and she's like, it's just right there, it's right there, it's within your reach. And she reached out, and the ground fell out from under her. And next thing you know, she's swimming. She got the frisbee in her mouth, and she's swimming. And after that, it was same deal. Can't keep her out of the water. If there's water, I remember we were walking. We went out on the San Juans. I'm not sure where exactly, but we're out in the San Juan Islands, and we're walking along this little trail. And you can, over to the left is like a big body of water, right? And and there's like a 200-foot cliff on the left, and right next to the trail, little bit over from the trail, and that girl just bailed, just straight down that cliff, 200 feet, straight to the water, and but she made it no problem down the cliff, right into the water, and she hit the water and didn't came back right away. So that was good because I wasn't going to go down a 200-foot cliff, but I would have. But it was nice that I didn't have to. So, you know, it was really an adventure with her, and I told her repeatedly, you know, in her last hour, how grateful I was that she was part of our household, because she was a really good addition, and I was really glad to have her. So, had that going for me, which was nice, and like I said, she went on lots of adventures. We went to multiple festivals. Rufus is a big live music guy. If you can get him out to live music, he's gonna have a really difficult time getting him away from it, right? Like I said, he loves meeting people. They love meeting people. They love hanging out. They love being where the action is, you know. And as long as you're responsible, you know, it's not a big deal. Going to a festival, going to a concert, going where there's lots of people, going to a restaurant. As long as you're responsible, as long as you make sure that your beautiful babies are behaving properly, it's no big deal, you know. And well, actually, it's a very, very big deal for the dogs, because there's nothing more important to dog than companionship first and foremost, and then adventure. There's nothing dogs love more than adventure. So.
Holy shit, we're getting a downpour right now.
So, so it was so nice to be able to share these things, you know, with such a wonderful, wonderful spirit. And because it would have been, you know, and that's the thing about being good with it, you know, is I know she had a good life. You know, like I said, she walked every day, serious walk, and she got to go to lots of awesome places, and including restaurants and festivals and concerts. She, you know, had the life that I think, you know, most dogs dream of. You know, a lot of dogs dream of, you know, chasing goats and chasing, you know, cattle and stuff. She would chase bunnies. She would chase kitties. She would chase rats. I remember we used to go on late night walks down at the this one park in downtown Seattle that's right on the water, and we let her and Rufus off the leash, right? Just let him wander around, and Rufus, man, it was like there was a jetty along the water, just all these rocks. Rufus would walk a mile down the jetty on the rocks, just, you know, up and down and over the rocks, like it's some kind of a challenge or something. And I'm telling you, he could have fallen and not been able to get up, but he never did. And he would do that sometimes both ways, at least one way, a mile on the jetty, just up and down all over the rocks. And then lots of times you go, and this is in the middle of the night, in complete darkness, parts of it, you know. So, but there would be bunnies down there, and she would chase the fuck out of bunnies. But we also have a laser, and she would chase that laser dot like it was more important than any bunny you're ever gonna see. But she would also chase the rats. There would be rats. This is downtown Seattle. There's a jetty. You know, if there's rocks and you know, vegetation and people, there's going to be rats. So there was rats. Not a lot of them, But she would find a rat and she would pounce on it, and then she'd go, and like one little nip, and she'd fucking rip their throats out. Like every single time. It'd be like a razor cut right across their throats. Fuck. Do not mess with that girl. And then she chased bunnies, lots and lots of bunny chasing. Everywhere we could go where she would chase a bunny. Everywhere we would go where she could chase a bunny, she would chase a bunny. And cats, she would chase cats. I remember getting smacked pretty hard by a couple of cats. But man, you say kitty, and she'd be like, where's the kitty? Where's the kitty? So, she was full of life, and she had a good life. You understand? This is why it's easy to, to feel good, And I think that's partially why, there's so much sorrow, and how the truth is the sorrow is very sweet because if there wasn't any like feeling, if you hadn't connected, if you weren't doing stuff, going to festivals, going to restaurants, walking every day, if it's just a dog, something that lives out in the backyard and doesn't really go anywhere. I mean, you still have feelings and you still get upset. The thing is, though, I don't really, I miss her, but I feel good about the time we shared together. The time we shared together was every single day, almost every meal that I had, I partially shared with them, with her and Rufus. And, in the last 10 days, 2 weeks of her life, I spent almost every single minute with her. And, it was really, I don't want to say it wasn't hard. It was hard, as the dog's sick, the dog's, she's having problems. It could be not, it could not turn out well, right? And lots of people started talking to me about quality of life, and I'm going to go heat up my tea. And when we come back, I'm going to do a bong hit, just to let you know, and we're going to talk about quality of life, okay? So I will be back momentarily. I just need to heat up my tea. Until then, here's some video of Sammy and Rufus.
Woo-choo! You got it, buddy! Good job, Boo Bear!
Propeller tail.
It's a propeller tail. He doesn't usually do that.
Oh, now it's all wet.
Good job, Bubba. You got it, buddy. What a good Boo Bear. What a good Boo Bear. You're my beautiful baby, Bubba Bear. You're my beautiful baby. You gonna bring it all the way up? You gonna bring it all the way up here? Come on, all the way. All the way. What a good boy. What a good Boo Bear.
Take a piss. Time for another round. Oh, don't roll in that water. Other doggies pee over there.
All right, ready to go down to the next one? Ready to go down to the next one? Ooh-sha-sha-sha. Ooh-sha-sha-sha. Ooh-sha-sha-sha.
Careful, there is somebody fishing right down there by the next one.
This trail?
I think we're okay, yeah. Just gotta watch out for the fisher dude. How you doing, Boo? Huh? Good swim? Good swim? Yeah?
I got the ball.
Come on, we got a ball. Let's go.
Get the ball.
That does not look like a limpy dog, but hopefully he won't jump too much and hurt himself in the process. It's the after effects that bother me. You're never sore during the football game, just afterwards.
There's a wire over there. See the wire netting right there? Right at the base of the tree right there. The wire netting, you can't see it?
I can't, no. Is it out in the water? Oh yeah, maybe they're trying to protect something from going in that hole. Like animals or something. Girl, where you going?
Pay attention.
Yep. Yep. Oh, now with the ground cover, it makes it hard to see. Sure.
Ready?
No, you guys, I got video.
Ready, Go-Go? Good job, buddy. Good job, buddy. What a funny Go-Go. Good job, Bubba. Good job, Bubba. What a good Boo Bear. What a good Boo Bear. Come on, Bubba, all the way up here. Come on, all the way up here. Come on, all the way up, all the way up, all the way up. Good job, buddy. Very good Boo Bear, you know. No, 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 no. No, no, no. No.
Come on, girl, let's go.
Tagging trees. How low do you gotta go to tag fucking trees? I mean,
That's the ultimate in douchebaggery right there. I'm so cool, I'm gonna tag a tree. Idiots.
All right, so that's my girl, and you could see that she's a very happy girl. You could see that, and it wasn't just that we were at the lake. She's a happy girl. You know, I mean, that lake, and she didn't run away. That lake, there's hundreds of people on a normal day, and dogs and all kinds of stuff. Bunnies, there's lots of bunnies there, and she never runs away. She never goes far. Every once in a while, she'll go up around the next bend, and he'd be like, "Where's my girl?" And she'd be right there. She'd be just around the next bend. She'd be like, "Hey, I'm over here." Look around the corner. So she was a very good girl. She is a very good girl. She's always going to be a very good girl. And I'm always going to miss her. That being said, so a number of people the last 10 days of her life started, talking about quality of life, right? And, like I was saying, we had, last 2 weeks or so, she was, for about the first 5 days, 4 days, I think 4 days, 3 or 4 days of the last 2 weeks of her life, she started to shit herself. And I would tell her, it's okay. And clean her up really good and clean up her area and let her know, it's no big deal. I don't care. This is fine. But what happened is the doctor, along with prescribing steroid, prednisone or something like that, prescribed codeine, right? And it turns out that 4 days later, like I said, 3 or 4 days into it, I stopped giving her the codeine. And when I stopped giving her the codeine, she stopped shitting herself. And I would pick her up and I would carry her outside, and you know, she'd do her business, right? And but people started talking to me about quality of life. I'm like, hey, she hasn't had a potty accident for 7 days now, you know. So they talked to me about quality of life, you know, and the thing about it is, you know, is every day for the last 10 years, I have been concerned about her quality of life. I have made her quality of life a top priority for me. And then these people, you know, my one friend, she, when I had my seizure and I had to go to the hospital, I was kind of afraid to walk the dog by myself at first, because nobody could tell me why I had a seizure, and I was really worried that I might have another seizure while we're walking, and that might put the dogs into some type of danger, and I didn't want to, you know, make it so that the dog's dangerous for the dogs. So I asked my friends, and she came. She did 2 walks with us, right? And during the first walk, she kept yanking on Sammy's leash, you know. And I was like, what's happening? And she'd look at me and she'd say, what the hell is wrong with this dog? I would look at her and I would say, there's nothing wrong with the dog. In other words, it's not the dog that has something wrong with it, clearly. So, and then on the second walk, she's complaining, and it's a 30-minute walk, right? Because, you know, everybody was a little off at the time. And it's a 30-minute walk, and she's complaining about how she feels more sore after the walk than she did before the walk, like, because we walk so slow. And, you know, all I could think is, you know, maybe dog walks aren't about you. You know, so we didn't ask her to walk with us anymore. But the point being, you know, then, you know, in Sammy's last couple days of life, you want to talk to me about you know, quality of life, right? And every minute of every day, the last 2 weeks of her life, I was at her side, caring for her, letting her know that she's a good girl and that she has someone who loves her very much. And then these people, right, who for 10 years, I known this girl for way longer than before, way before Sammy was born, way. And now she wants to, you know, for 10 years she had the option to be concerned with Sammy's quality of life, you know, somehow 1 day a month, you know, say, hey, let's take Sammy somewhere, let's take Sammy and Rufus out for, you know, park thing. And she didn't take that opportunity. It was never a priority for her. You know, another person who want to talk to me of quality of life, again, that I've known long before there was ever a YouTube, you know, which means long before Sammy was ever born, you know, is saying, what the hell is wrong with Mike? You know, well, and this person has all the money he's ever going to spend, you know, and he's like, he's talking about quality of life, right? And again, you know, Sammy loved going to restaurants. So if he was really concerned about her quality of life, when he had the chance to make a difference, he could have said, hey, let's take Sammy out to dinner, you know, one of these restaurants she likes. If he was so concerned about her quality of life. And then in the last few days of her life, he wants to tell me what the hell is wrong with Mike. What the hell is wrong with you? Worried about her quality of life. Number one, Mr. Moneybags, who has more money than he's going to spend in the rest of his life, spending as much as he wants. I can tell you right now, Sammi has a much better quality of life than he does. As far as I can tell, she had a much better quality of life than he's ever had, because he's not a happy person. Happiness is very much important to quality of life. I imagine he's someone who thinks quality of life can be bought. Quality of life has to do with, you know, something you can purchase. But it's not. Quality of life has to do with people appreciating who you are. People, you know, sending love your way. People there for you when you really need them. And like I said, you know, these people that want to talk about quality of life, they had an opportunity when it would have made a difference, you know, to talk about, you know, to be concerned with their quality of life. And then all of a sudden, in the last few days of their life, they're concerned about Sammi's quality of life. Well, let me tell you something. If someone does this to you, now it's one thing if you have a very young dog and it's having seizures, or you know, it's very unhealthy, and doesn't look like it's going to get any better, right? Then that's one thing where the dog might go on for years and years and years, and it's never going to have a decent quality of life. Now, if you're at 13 years old, like Sammi was in November, she would have been 13. And you had amazing quality of life, and and you shared that amazing quality of life with someone who loved you, you know, as much as he or she loved their own life. Then in the last few days of their life, you know, after a long life together, after, you know, so much love, if you can make their quality of life a top priority for you in their last few days of life. Like I said, for me, I was at her side every minute of every day. And I made it really clear to Craig that I did not want her to die alone. That's why I couldn't do the shows, because unless Craig could sit with her while I was doing a show, I would not leave her, because I didn't want her to die alone. So we did a couple of shows, and the point being is that if you can make it a priority, your dog, after having a long life with your dog, if you can make it a priority the last few days of their life, then the quality of life with you, the person who loves them more than anything, even though it may be a difficult quality of life for both of you, those last few days of sharing love is probably as important as all the other days. Because if they had taken Sammi and made it so that her last few hours of life had been in a steel kennel waiting for someone to poison her, I would have not been able to really, I would have had a much more difficult time making peace with the idea that she's not here anymore. Because I just imagined that, you know, I just don't think that's a good way, you know, to end your life. So I kept her here. And when she, and I did everything I could do to keep her eating. I made her ham and cheese omelets. She ate numerous pot pies, um, and a bunch of other things. I got some pastrami for me, and she was crazy for the pastrami. I don't think she ever tasted pastrami before. And I got vanilla ice cream, because all little girls that aren't feeling well will eat vanilla ice cream, and little girls who aren't feeling well deserve to have a little bit of vanilla ice cream. So she ate. She definitely ate, and that was part of the thing too. There's people talking about quality of life. I'm like, look, she's eating. She's trying to walk. I'm not going to give up on her when she's not ready to give up. So so I stayed with her, and and she would have these coughing fits, and that was part of why I didn't want to leave her side. Was because I wanted her to know it's okay, I'm right here. And I realized too that it seems like she had some kind of a lung issue, is why she died. It looks like she might have had cancer, and in the lungs, right? And so, and this is why she's having such a hard time breathing and such, and coughing. And one of the things that I realized, if your dog might be having an issue like this, is that when the dogs needed to go to the bathroom, both of them, they need to go to the bathroom bad, they will pant, like, we gotta, I don't know how much longer I can last, right? And I think that would kind of trigger her coughing spasms, at least some of them. So if your dog is having this issue, and they're having trouble standing up, and they're having breathing, coughing issues, it may be partially being triggered by the fact that they need to go to the bathroom real bad. So if you see that happening, and just if you communicate with them, you need to go to the bathroom, one of the things, or just take them outside, either way. And I found that at least 50% of the time, she would need to go potty really, really bad. One or two, either one. And that after she went to the bathroom, after she went potty, had a piss or a shit, and I brought her back in and lied her down, she would stop coughing almost immediately. Picking her up, and putting a lot of weight on her chest and everything, and it was a little bit, but I always say, I know it's hard being a girl, and it is hard being a girl. It's hard being a lover of the girl. But I'd take her out for a piss, and then she'd come in, and I'd lay her back down, and the wheezing, the coughing almost go away. She had some stuff in her lungs. You could hear it gurgling, but it wasn't like she was spasming for breath or anything. So just a little heads up, if your dog is having some kind of a, end of days lung issue, and they cough, that may be something you might want to consider as triggering it, because it helps. If you can get them to stop coughing, you do whatever it takes, which means take them outside, get them a piss, and then lay them back down, and all of a sudden they're good. That was a good plan. So, a little heads up on that one. Now, and again, let's go back to quality of life, okay? So, if you can, again, in the last few days of your beautiful baby's life, make quality of life a top priority, then that quality of life is going to be good, because you'll be there. I don't know if you're going to be there right by his or her side every minute, but you do your best to be there as much as possible. And when you're not there, like I had to go to the doctor one day, and Craig had hooked up a camera that was on her, that was live, and we could check in on it, and I would watch the camera the whole way to the doctor and the whole way back, and it's not that someone was there with her, but if there was an issue, I would have done everything in my power to get back there as quickly as possible. Fuck the doctor, don't care. So if you can prioritize that, to say, okay, I'm going to do everything I can to be concerned about her quality of life, which again, I was every single day that she was with us. From the day she was with us, her quality of life was a top priority for me. And so if in the end, which I'm sure is the same way for many of you who are dog owners, but if in the end you can prioritize, quality of life as a tip-top thing, then don't let anyone tell you, that this dog's quality of life is it's deteriorating. She's on her deathbed. Yes, she is deteriorating quickly. She probably only has a day or 2 or 3 left. Yes, I know that. So what? I'm supposed to take that day or 2 or 3 away from her? What? I'm supposed to have her end in some sterile environment with someone poisoning her? No. That's not quality of life. That's certainly not a quality of death. Okay? At the same time, if you're not able to, and what I'm saying is, don't let anyone tell you that hasn't been concerned about your dog's quality of life for, a while, when they had a chance to make the difference in your dog's quality of life. Don't let them all of a sudden be concerned about your dog's quality of life, when they're on their deathbed and they're 13, 14 years old, 12, 13, 14, 15. Some dogs live to 20. Don't let someone else take away the last few days of your dog's life, the last few days of you getting to spend with your dog, unless of course you can't take cleaning up after them. If it's gonna make you angry to clean up after your beautiful baby, maybe the dog would be better off, because I'm sure that the last thing a dog wants is to make you angry in his last few days of life. So if you can, and you make it a priority, what I'm telling you is those last few days, those last few moments are incredibly worth it, not just for you, but for your beautiful baby too. I remember the last day she wouldn't eat. I knew that was bad, and it wasn't just that she wouldn't. She ate a little bit, but she wouldn't go to the bathroom. I took her out 3 or 4 times, and she wouldn't go. Maybe more times, I'm not sure. So I just sat next to her on the floor most of that day, just petting her and, telling her how much I love her. And then about 11:30 at night, she started to cough and wheeze, and she couldn't get a breath. And I told her, I'm right here. And I petted her, and it didn't seem to change. And so I got on top of her. And I just put a little bit of weight on top of her. And I started kissing her and telling her what a good girl she was. And she was able to breathe when I was on top of her and putting a little bit of weight on her, compressing her just a little bit. It was as if the amount of weight that I was putting on top of her, you know, wouldn't allow her to gasp. And somehow, you know, I don't know, me being on top of her made it so that she was totally calm. And I laid on top of her and gave her at least 100 kisses in her last hour. I laid on top of her for about 45 minutes or an hour. It might have been a little bit longer. And I gave her at least 100 kisses in her last hour. And I told her what a good girl she is. And how she's my girl. And you know why she's my girl? I would say, you know why you're my girl? Because you're a girly girl. You're my girly girl. My little girly girl. And I would tell her, I would talk about chasing bunnies. I'd talk about having pizza and cheeseburgers. And I talked to her, and I called her all my little nicknames for her, my honey bunny and my girl, and my princess pillow. I used to lay on top of her and call her my princess pillow, and she wouldn't move. She always seemed to enjoy that. So I laid on top of her for about an hour, telling her that and giving her kisses. And then she was gone. And my point being is that if you're lucky enough to get that kind of death, then you probably have a pretty damn good quality of life. Because most people don't get 100 kisses in their last hour of life. Most people don't get told over and over again how wonderful they are in their last hour of life. And certainly sitting at the vet in a steel cage, waiting to get poisoned, you'd never get 100 kisses in your last hour of life. So that's a pretty good quality of life, in my opinion. And to all those people who want to think anything else, you know, you'd be really lucky to have somebody like me around in your last moments of life. And that's what the truth is. So, you know, she's my girl. She'll always be my girl. And I just love that she got to be part of my household, and I got to be part of her life, because I think both of us made each other very happy. So I wanted to do a bong hit with you all, and tribute of Sammi. She was not a big stoner, I'll tell you. I would give her a puff before I would give her a bath, because the tub seemed to be a little difficult for her. So I'd give her a puff before bath time, and that seemed to help a lot. But if I tried to give her a cookie, like, didn't matter what kind of cookie, sugar cookie, peanut butter cookie, you can't give them chocolate, oatmeal cookie, didn't matter. She would know that there was weed in there, and she wouldn't have anything to do with it. I would give her ice cream, again, vanilla ice cream. I'd bury it at the bottom of the ice cream, you know, just a little tiny bit of butter, right? Little tiny fleck of weed butter. And she'd leave the bottom layer of ice cream. So she wasn't a big stoner. But she knew that I was, for sure. and I think that she would appreciate me doing a big fat puff in her honor. So I want to do that, and I wanted to share that with you, and 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 thank Sammi so much for sharing her life with us. Give me just a second. I'll heat this up. Oh, and if anybody wants to call, I guess this will be your last chance to call. Again, I wasn't gonna do phone calls because you know how people can be, but I thought maybe other people have a very similar experience, and it might be a cathartic hour or two that we spend live on the YouTube for more people than just myself. So that's the reason I decided that we'd go ahead and do phone calls. At any rate, I am going to do this puff for Sammi. If you'd like to join me, I'm almost ready. Know that if you can make a dog a priority in your life, right, where you are able to take them on a walk every day, but not just, okay, you made a poop, let's go home. Walk. You need to be like, hey, which way, a little bit of adventure walk. I need to go out and see what's going on in the neighborhood. This is why Sammi was an escape artist when we got her, is because she needed to know what was going on in the neighborhood. There was dogs barking, there's other kinds of noises. She needed to know what was going on. So she needed to go out. She found a way to go out. But if you can make a dog a priority, top priority in your life, where, again, I brush their teeth 2 or 3 times a week, because the last thing you want to be is, a 13-year-old dog that never got her teeth brushed and in constant pain. So here's to Sammi. So, I guess I said about all I wanted to say. I want you to know, again, that if you can make a dog a priority in your life, that the return on your investment will be something that makes a huge difference in your life. When you get home from work or whatever, the grocery store, and that beautiful baby is there saying, "You're home, you're home, you're home, you're home, you're home, you're yay! You're home, you're home, you're home, you're home. Give me kisses, give me kisses." It makes a difference in your life, to have that kind of energy. But again, it has to be this priority, because a lot of people would be like, yeah, give me space. I need to, but if you're like, if you come home and it's wonderful to be, like I said, some dogs are backyard dogs, and that's not the dog that's getting its teeth brushed twice a week. So when you go to give them kisses, they're like, but again, if you can make it a top priority, what you'll find is the return on your investment couldn't be more valuable to your own personal quality of life. So, if you're really looking for some quality of life, find someone you can love with all your heart. And I believe then you'll know what quality of life really is. Okay? So, thank you very much for tuning in for my tribute to Sammi. She was a wonderful, wonderful being, and I was incredibly lucky to have her in my life, and I will carry her with me for the rest of my life. So we will return to our regular programming tomorrow, which is your Wake and Bake News at 7 p.m. So I hope that we see you there, and thank you very much for tuning in. And take a puff for Sammi, okay? Talk to you soon, I hope.